Russia is bombing Ukraine's strategic town of Pokrovsk. A new front of war has opened in Ukraine's eastern front, where Russian firepower meets Ukrainian grit. As the battlefield heats up, President Donald Trump is cooling down on Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine and urging self-settlement.
The battlefield is red hot. The thunder of tanks, the roar of artillery echo for miles across the eastern front. Russia is grinding into the strategic town of Pokrovsk with its most punishing assault yet. Russian troops are clawing through defenses, street by street, house by house, village by village. Moscow claims its forces have destroyed Ukrainian formations near Pokrovsk's railway station and industrial zone. Russia calls it a tactical advance, but on the ground it's pure devastation. Once an industrial town is reduced to dust and silence.
Obviously, Russian infiltration troops are moving very deep into the city, on the northwest corner, the northern corner. To what extent they control this whole area is kind of unclear, but it is clear that the last week or two, Russia has accumulated a larger and larger force in the city. Different estimates put at maybe 200-300 or more soldiers, and clearly that as more soldiers enter the city, Russia's getting a better kind of a degree of control over the city itself.
Ukraine is staring at a new nightmare in Pokrovsk. For its exhausted soldiers, this isn't just another battle, but a hell reborn. As Ukraine scrambles for more weapons to counter Russian offensive, US President Donald Trump has stunned his allies. Trump has poured cold water on the prospect of supplying Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, a clear sign Washington's future support could hang in the balance.
Minister, to provide Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles, is that something that you're not considering that?
No, not really.
Trump's statement follows a period of public ambiguity. The Tomahawks, with their formidable 2,500-kilometer range, are a prime request for President Vladimir Zelensky, who seeks the capability for deep strikes into Russian territory, potentially reaching targets as critical as Moscow. But Russia has issued sharp warnings against such a provision. Beyond the weapons decision, Trump offers a remarkably hands-off assessment of the nearly 4-year-old war. He has a stark message to Kyiv and Moscow: settle the war yourselves. As the world debates who should help Ukraine fight, for Kyiv it's clearly a test of endurance. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
And joining us now from Berlin is Mr. Ben Aris, who's a founder and editor-in-chief of BNE IntelliNews and also former Moscow bureau chief for the Daily Telegraph. Mr. Aris, good to see you. When Trump was asked about Russia and China, he said that both Putin and Xi Jinping are strong leaders. With that context, do you think Trump is basing or making his decision on personality traits? I'm talking about his cold water on supplying Tomahawks to Ukraine.
No, I think Trump has a purely pragmatic approach to this war, that he doesn't want to get involved. He's made it clear that he's not prepared to send any more money or any more arms to Ukraine, and that he's more interested in doing mineral deals with both China and Russia. China is withholding its minerals, rare earth metals in particular, for the tech sector. And at the same time, Russia is home to vast deposits of these same minerals. And so he's using the whole war as leverage in that negotiation between those two leaders. Mm-hmm. I think everything else is just for show.
Mr. Aris, if Trump continues to make such U-turns on his decisions, what does that say to countries like Ukraine, which is fully dependent on the United States? Is Zelensky walking a tightrope, thinking that he has the backing of the United States, and should he be wary?
He should be extremely wary. I mean, since Trump took over, the situation has drastically changed. Under Biden, the Americans were providing Ukraine with about 40% of the funds that they need in order to pay for both the government to run and for the military support. And at the same time, the US was the major supplier of most of the powerful weapons and ammunition that Ukraine was using. Since Trump's come, there's been no money transferred at all and no weapons transferred. I mean, we're talking about Tomahawks at the moment, but, you know, again, Trump is flip-flopping on the issue, and one day he says he's going to send them, another day he says he's not going to. The latest, I think he said on Air Force One that he wasn't going to send Tomahawks, and these powerful missiles are badly needed. And you have to understand, I mean, there's been a lot of reports on the spectacular success that Ukraine has made in developing and deploying drones, and that's what's keeping it in the war. But as of the summer, Russia changed the game and started firing missiles. In October, there was just a survey. They fired 270 missiles on top of hundreds and hundreds of drones. And Ukraine doesn't have anything to respond to that. It doesn't have any missiles of its own, of any power or number. One or two, few Neptune and the new Flamingo. But it also doesn't have any air defense to bring those missiles down. It's reliant again on American-made Patriots, and it's been running desperately short. And so this is turning into a very one-sided war. And without American support, there's not much that Ukraine can do to fend itself off from these missiles. And that's all dependent on Trump, and Trump simply hasn't supplied either missiles, the Tomahawks, nor the Patriots. The Americans have 60 systems in reserve, and they haven't sent any. The two that just turned up in Kiev this week are German.
Mr. Ben Aris, it's good to see you. We'll have to end it there. Thank you for talking to us today.
Pleasure.